fans, Flames fans, hockey fans, happy Friday. Welcome to Game Over Toronto. We have a head-to-head tonight, myself and Auddie over on the left-hand side of the screen. And of course, the moderator of both of us and our referee, Rachel Doerrie. Welcome, both of you. Yay.
Hey, we don't like referees on SDPN.
No, Rachel's
I don't like referees either.
You can be like the morality referee. So, Leafs beat the Flames in a white knuckler up to the very end somehow. It started off not being competitive, and then it was competitive, and then not competitive.
It was 4-1.
And then, oh, yeah, thank you. It was bound to happen. Yes, death taxes and the Leafs giving up a 4-1 lead, forcing overtime, and then deciding to show up in overtime. So, obviously, we have Rachel here, we have Auddie here. We're going to talk about the game on both sides of the puck. It's not just going to be Leafs tonight, it's going to be Flames, and I'm sure we'll talk about some other stuff as well. So, ending we all expected, right? Max Domi getting his first goal in the shootout to win the game.
It doesn't even count as a goal. That's the worst part.
I know. How does it register? It doesn't count as a goal for him, does it?
No.
It doesn't even count as a shot on net, which I think is like, okay, you don't want to count it as a goal, fine, but come on now. Like, count it as a shot on net.
It was a nice shot, too.
I was sitting there
like, that was pretty.
It was a nice shot. It actually looked almost exactly like the Sharon Govich shot.
Yeah.
Almost identical. So
it was pretty.
It was pretty. And I mean, it got to the second round of the shootout, which is even more uncommon. Normally the Leafs totally shit the bed in the first three, so they don't even get to 4 and 5. So it was very nice to see the Leafs actually try and someone actually score, because last time no one scored for the Leafs and it was fucking devastating. So yes, happy Friday. If you are just joining us, welcome to Game Over. Please make sure you hit like and subscribe as we go through the game. We're going to talk about it obviously right from the beginning. So on the Leafs side, we have Jake McCabe back in the lineup and John Klingberg being sat. Thank goodness. And somehow our league min defenders and William Lagesson are beating him out of the lineup, and rightfully so, because he has been shit this year so far. And even though he's not on the team, they still managed to give up 4 goals for the first time in franchise history in the first 8 home games of the season, which just another game.
Gross.
Yeah, just another.
I feel like we need to mention the fact that like 3 goaltenders went into the Hall of Fame tonight and had to watch whatever that was. Because Henrik Lundqvist is used to it because of the crap he saw when he played for the Rangers. And like, by God, did y'all see him tonight? Like,
handsome.
The sharpest dressed man. Okay, so a little bit of a funny story. I was walking down the street today and I saw him walking. I accidentally stepped into traffic because I was like, literally stepped into traffic because I saw him and like almost had a heart attack.
Wow.
So,
I feel like I would react the same way.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not even, that's not even a joke. I probably would.
Henrik.
I mean, yeah, like, did you see his hair too? Like, oh my God. But like, they had to watch that. Like, what was that? They're probably gonna have nightmares tonight. Like,
I hope they all bet on the over.
That was tough.
I hope.
Me too.
Yeah, I think both of us. I mean, Auddie, did you think Vladar was going to play better than he did? Because I thought Wool was going to play better than he did.
I put out a tweet in like the halfway point of the first period where I'm like, there's a good chance that we see Dustin Wolf tonight. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to play tomorrow against the Sens. There's some stuff going on there with Jacob Markstrom, and I'm like, are we going to see Wolf a little earlier than we all expected tonight? And then I should have tweeted out that Shaq quote, sorry I wasn't familiar with your game, because he really kept the Flames in it when things were seemingly going wrong in the D zone all night up until the third period for the Flames. But yeah, all in all, like from a Vladar standpoint, shaky, not the greatest. Not everything should be put on him. There's a lot of glaring holes that the Flames need to fix and need to address, or maybe they don't. I don't really know what the direction is from here. If it's, do you fix those holes and try to stay competitive, or do you just, like I said to Rachel before we started, I can't wait to talk to you about which Flame is staying over in Toronto and not making the trip to Ottawa because they made a trade. But yeah, he was good, and then he held his own as the game went on. Started to look like he got a little bit more comfortable in the crease, and yeah, it ended up being a pretty good game for me. Faced a heavy workload tonight, and I think he stood to the task as the game went on.
I thought, like, there was a few times like after he gave up the fourth goal, he was not good up and until that point. Like I was kind of wondering, I was like, so Dustin Wolf, hello? Exactly. And then I thought he really settled in. And by settled in, I mean, he started making saves. He sort of looked like Tom Barrasso and Mike Vernon in the sense that like it was
like he was playing in the 80s.
80s style goaltending. Like there was not a lot of structure there. I don't think like goaltending coaches teach that nowadays. But hey, it worked for them. So it worked for Vladar for the back half of the game tonight. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, you're playing your backup and then obviously you're going to have Dustin Wolf tomorrow. I said this on Game Over last night, but when your backup's playing, two things, right? Give the goalie the night off and give your team a chance to win. And you got a point tonight. Mm-hmm. He kind of held them in there after that and allowed Calgary to come back. And I mean, at some point, like you're going to score on the Leafs. I mean, they've given up 4 goals in every single home game this year. I'm just mashing the over on every single away team.
Oh yeah.
But I thought Vladar like did his job, right? Got them a point, right? You go into tomorrow against Ottawa. Yeah, it's on a back-to-back, but at least now you're feeling confident in the fact that like Dustin Wolf's going to give you a good game, and you got a good game out of Vladar, so you got a chance to get 3 or 4 points. That's pretty good.
Not to completely infiltrate this and be Flame-centric, because we'll swing it back to the Leafs shortly.
Yeah,
but
no, it's all good.
Another thing, too, is just like kind of what I mentioned before we really got heavy into Vladar was just how piss poor the Flames were in their own end through the first 40 minutes. Turnover after turnover, sloppy play in the neutral zone, 2-on-1s the other way. It is an ongoing issue. And one of the things that I've noticed at least is just how flat-footed the Flames are on their own end. It's just like the slightest bit of pressure and they just don't move their feet and guys are able to get around them. A couple really good chances from Nylander. I mean, obviously he scores 2, but probably could have scored 4 or 5 just based on how he was moving around and getting around guys in the O-zone. And yeah, just another day in the life here in Calgary, just living the dream out here, covering this team and seeing what we see night in and night out. It's just a grand old time.
Like there were more turnovers tonight than like a freaking bakery, honestly. Like ridiculous. Like I mean, Calgary was like particularly horrendous. I was like, whoa, what the heck? But like even Toronto too, I'm like, man, like make a pass.
Yes. Like
I already went to the bakery once today. I do not want to go to the bakery at 10 o'clock at night. My diet is bad enough. I don't need to be eating turnovers at 10:30 at night. So just get it together, please. Like
yeah, they're gonna build a Cobb's on the concourse level of Scotiabank for sure. Especially because I mean, listen, at the beginning of the game, the Leafs for the first like 10 minutes they had some really good opportunities. They looked real strong right out of the gate, and they actually do score first, which was super nice. William Nylander right at the beginning on the power play, the only power play that the Leafs get for the whole freaking game, like with it 2.5 minutes into the game, which I mean, Leafs fans were excited when the Leafs score first, but this season it doesn't seem to matter because they either give up a goal within 3 minutes or a power play within 3 minutes of scoring a goal. They allow a goal the other way within 3 minutes, or they get scored on. Like it's one of those options. And it was such a piss off to see Connor Zary score like 5 minutes later. I mean, I literally have it written down. I've started connecting arrows because things are happening so close together. And the first 3 things that I have in my book for the first game or for the game is the Greer penalty, Leafs power play, Willie scores, Connor Zary scores, Calle Jarnkrok scores. Like that's my first 3 bullet points.
I picture Lauren like with the wall behind her and like connecting all the string lines together.
Yeah.
Mika just walks in and you're just like panting like, do you see what
Look
we
at the
see?
wall, do you
Look
see
at this?
Meanwhile, I'm holding this string up here because my cat's trying to climb up me and eat it all. Yeah. Like a totally stable human being. Absolutely. The Leafs definitely looked. It's funny. The game completely swung at like 180 degrees for me. The beginning of the game, the Leafs looked really good and the Flames were getting caved in. And then as the game went on, the Leafs did the Leaf thing and it was 4-1.
And the Flames did the Flame thing too, which is
Cardiac
coast. Yeah. Coast. And then you get to the third period, and they're like, "Holy shit, we play a hockey game tonight. We better strap up the laces and grip the stick a little tighter and actually try here." And they make it interesting. And then, of course, I'm sitting here with my heart going like this nonstop, going into a shootout and all that. But yeah, it was a very flamesy game.
It was a very Leaf game too. I feel like
those
kind of meld together very well. Watching both of those teams, like I look at it and it's like, okay, there were two young players that like stood out. Connor Zary I love how patient he is with the puck. He has a very mature game for somebody who looks like he's 12. And then like on the flip side, I mean, Matthew Knies and Nick Robertson. Nick Robertson, I feel like he breaks a goalie every time he shoots the puck. I feel like his shot kind of surprises them for whatever reason. But I thought both of them tonight were particularly good. But Connor Zary, I mean, the Flames have, and I've always thought this, and I like how patient they were with him. They have a really, really good one in Connor Zary, similar to kind of what the Leafs have in Matthew Knies. Like, I think it's sort of like this is an impact top 6 player for the Calgary Flames for a long, long time.
Yeah, and it's a shame that early on in his pro career he faced as much injury adversity as he did, because I think that this kid could have had an impact sooner. But to your point about waiting and letting him marinate on a good team in the AHL, the Wranglers have been have been good for, obviously last year they were incredible, but letting him marinate a little bit, and now it's nice to see a coach who is willing to not only suggest those call-ups and then actually play the youth, because good things are happening for the Flames with these. Good things are happening for the Flames by playing the youth, but also the only good things for the Flames right now is the youth. It's the Pospisil show. It's the Connor Zary show. Peltier, I know damn well would have had an impact had he not got hurt. Matt Coronado played well. I know he's down in the AHL right now, kind of finding his game again. But the youth movement in Calgary is really it's a really welcome thing right now. Just seeing what they had last year and what they pissed away. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see it.
For sure. And
quite happy.
It's funny that you talk about his injuries, because I mean, Nick Robertson, we've all believed in Leafs land that like if he's had like 3 season ending injuries, like year after year after year. He breaks his arm, then he breaks his leg, and then he has to have shoulder surgery. Like, it's wild to me that he's now like 21 years old and is only now getting like regular reps on the Leafs without real warning. And he's now, granted, he looks better than he ever has. He's playing better, he's skating better, he's making better passing decisions. The goal that he had the other day on the Domi's pass was like, oh my god, like if you can put up 20 of those a season, like maybe you'll never be the same player as Jason Robertson. That's fine. But if we can just get a player like Nick Robertson is turning into, it's going to be great. Matthew Knies has looked really good. He had an okay game today. He didn't get lit up. Bertuzzi got lit up by Zadorov later in the game. Like, nice open ice hit by Zadorov.
I want to talk about
that. We'll get there. We'll get there. But like Matthew, and Matthew Knies has looked great basically anywhere he's played on the lineup. Now Fraser Minton's back in on the Kamloops Blazers, and Easton Cowan is lighting it up in London. Like, he looks ridiculous.
So
like 2 points.
He's so
a game.
Gross.
Oh, it's so good, and he's small, and he's like pissy and amazing, and I can't wait.
He actually reminds me, somebody who isn't like they're an NHL scout, but they scout the OHL, said that Easton Cowan reminds them of Brad Marchand, and I was like, oh dear God,
the Leafs have their own.
That's not good.
I know, and for everybody else, it'll be terrible.
Exactly, but what you were saying about Nick Robertson is totally right. I think the one big thing I've noticed with Robertson is he doesn't skate like a bowling ball anymore.
Yes. Or like he's falling over. He looks like a cartoon player, like running in one spot.
Like the Road Runner in Looney Tunes.
Yes.
Yeah, so he doesn't skate like that anymore. And then like the Leafs bottom 6 until they called Robertson up was unplayable. Atrocious. Like absolutely horrendous. Yeah. It was driving me nuts. And then they call Robertson up and they move Domi to center. And when you move Domi to center, that forces him to be more involved in the play. Yep. He also can't wait as long. There's not enough time for you to kind of wait and chill and this and that. He's got to make quick decisions. He can't overthink plays. And the second that happened, that third line looks way better. So now the Leafs have 3 lines they can play, which is obviously way better than 2 lines. And maybe they can stop running their star players into the ground. But, I mean, you need some offense. And so, like, maybe Max Domi getting a shootout goal kind of helps lift him. I've liked Nick Robertson's game. I thought that 34 and 16 were literally invisible tonight. Like, could not tell me that
they looked like Jonathan Huberdeau tonight. As Armand,
R.I.P. my fantasy team.
As Armand so graciously points out in the chat, if anybody noticed him, but yeah, you're right. They were non-factors. You could go on and on about the Flames who are non-factors too, but yeah. We don't
also
have
the Kadri penalty was extremely
I was
not a
literally
penalty.
that was my next point. So that's where I was getting to. Kadri to the box after being after he's ragdolled by William Lagesson, low key, actually ragdolled and slammed to the ground, and then Kadri goes away. Actually, as he was skating to the box, I was like, why is Kadri going to the box? And he's not even on my team anymore.
I thought he was beaked off or something. I thought he ran his mouth and said something that he probably shouldn't have said.
And they both
where's
end
the
up
penalty?
They both end up in the box without with a penalty, but not an advancement penalty or a man advantage penalty.
Yeah, it was an offset. But...
And if we're being really honest here, Kadri ended up in the box for something that was absolutely not a penalty. That was a call that nobody else gets. That is a Nazem Kadri call.
Yep.
And the thing is the puck was loose. So he had every right to be there. That play shouldn't have been blown dead. It's not a slash. And he got ragdolled and somehow we're playing 5-on-5. I was just like, what are we doing here? But then I remembered that last night, Adam Fantilli got a penalty for telling the ref that he shouldn't call a penalty on the opponent because he didn't actually get high stick. And I was just like,
so
you're
terrible.
Right.
What's with the penalties? Jay Woodcroft, okay? We're not even this isn't even involving the Oilers. Why was Jay Woodcroft?
We're gonna talk about the Oilers?
Yeah.
All right.
No,
All
just that that penalty specifically, completely answerless. There was no discernible reason as to why that happened. And it seems like those penalties are happening more and more, which is weird because it was one of the last penalties called in the game was this mystery penalty against Kadri.
Yeah. Did they just call that penalty and they were like, okay, so we got our Kadri penalty and no more whistles for the night.
It's the Nazem Kadri effect, and it's also the lingering Dennis Weidman effect. still haunting the Flames to this day. Honestly, I feel like there might still be a bit of a vendetta out about the whole Dennis Weidman thing.
Maybe
as
a
bad
little
as
bit.
That sounds. I don't know. But
then the Leafs end up actually taking another penalty to close out the second period. Jake McCabe for a roughing penalty. Again, Lagesson and Kadri. They had a couple run-ins this game, interestingly enough. William Lagesson, who, again, is a player that I don't think any Leaf fans were really expecting to play more than maybe half a dozen games this whole season, barring bad injury, has been strangely
decent
and unnervingly suitable for our team. It's bewildering that, it's John Klingberg, but it's bewildering that someone that's literally making league min is a more reliable and a less hold your breathy player than John Klingberg has been. And yeah,
man, when I watch John Klingberg, this is how I feel.
Yes,
this is how I feel.
Oh, they can't see it. Pull it over. They can't see it. You're cut off.
This is how I feel.
Correct.
Okay. This is
fine.
me.
This is fine.
Watching the Leafs in the defensive zone, actually, but specifically John Klingberg.
Yeah.
What Kate, as a Flames, someone who spends the majority of his time watching and covering the Flames and ignoring the blue out east, what did Leaf fans think they were getting out of John Klingberg when he came over? Is this surprising to you guys?
No,
on my end, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised to see this.
Now, having said that, you played in the same conference as him for a long time.
That's true. This
right?
is also true.
We saw him a couple
sheltered
times
out in the West.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Just like Cody Ceci, the Edmonton Oilers thought Cody Ceci was good because he was in the East. When Klingberg was signed, we knew that there was going to be a defensive downswing on that. the other side of that is we were expecting
Or just no
more,
defense at all.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Or
I
lack
was expecting zero defense.
But at least there was supposed to be like advertised offensive upswing, and that has simply not existed in the latter half of the beginning of the season. Did you hear this? Like the latter half of the beginning we're 14 games in and he hasn't scored a point in 8 games. Like, not only are you a defensive like black hole, you're a defensive liability, and you got sweet shit all on the offensive side. So please have a seat and let William Lagesson go ragdoll someone else. I'm sorry. I didn't see the game against the Sens the other night because I decided I was going to take my mother out for a very nice dinner. That's a great idea.
And it turns out that was a really swell choice.
Yes, it
so
was.
I was on my podcast and Mike was like, did you see Ottawa's second goal? Did you see John Klingberg? I was like, no. Mike made me watch the video. I nearly had a stroke.
Yeah.
Watching this guy. And like, I remember when John Klingberg signed, I was like, okay, offensively, like I like what he brings to the table. Remember, this guy used to be one of the best defensemen in the league. He was in the Norris conversation.
Wasn't long ago either.
Years ago.
Yeah.
But I was like, listen, he played the most minutes on the Anaheim Ducks, who were the worst defensive team in the league last year. So if you're expecting defense of any kind, I don't like, I have a bridge to sell you. I don't know what to tell you. But even I was like, okay, I think he's at least like an NHL defenseman.
Right.
And no.
Are we sure? Are you sure about that, John Cena meme?
Yes, like exactly. So maybe it should have been Matt Dumba, but
oh man, that's
don't even
he's
get
actually
going.
he's
just
actually
pull
been
the string
pretty
out of
good
my
too.
chest and just smash it against my soul.
But don't worry, Auddie, to answer your question, the Leafs are 100% trading for one of Zadorov or Tanev. It's happening. It just is.
Maybe
It is.
Old El Paso meme. Why not both?
That's what I said. Why not both?
We can't afford to give up both. That's why.
What if you dump Klingberg and the Flames eat half?
Yeah, you want Klingberg,
and then you pay out the ass for it.
Who takes the other half of that? Like,
Yeah.
you want me to
For the heck of
retain? You want me to
No, I'm
retain
not
on
saying-
Klingberg? Oh, you want to involve
the Flames
someone else?
retain. No, the Flames retain on Tanev and.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, no. Flames do the retaining, and the Leafs pay a premium for it, or maybe not.
So
Maybe not, because you're dumping. Because I don't know. I suck.
Because then you have John
No.
Klingberg. You're
I'm
not
so
good
bad at
defensively.
this.
Why are you volunteering yourself? Like, let's make this Edmonton's problem. Can we do that? I think we can agree on that.
oh my god, that would be so fun.
It would be. It would
No,
be.
because
But
they
at the
don't
s-
need any more
I
defensive
Toronto
holes.
dumped Jack Campbell on Edmonton. Like, send
No,
John
we
Klingberg
gifted
there
him.
too.
We gifted him. We went, you
Santa,
know what?
yes.
Here you go. You want all of our old players, right? Yeah. Boy, do we have a golden
And we've
retriever
turned-
puppy for you. Merry Christmas.
We've turned Leon Draisaitl into the Grinch. Like,
I know. It's true.
that man
Bro
is
hates his
so mad.
life out there.
It's true.
Anyway, this is not. I don't want to get too.
I know. We're
Like
we're
if
falling down
Zach
the
Zach
spiral.
Wheel is watching right now, then he's already cried enough from last night. But the Oilers.
No,
are
I
in
can see the Leafs
They in
going after
trouble.
both Zadorov and Tanev.
That's
though.
what I'm
Well,
saying. I think
yeah.
that's the move if you're the Leafs. If you like make a big splash, bring them both in.
I'm not that lucky, guys. I hate to tell you that. We're not that lucky. And I don't think Flames management would be willing to make the kind of trade with Brad Treliving, the person they just walked out the door.
Yeah, but I think Craig Conroy and Brad Treliving have a better relationship than most
Yeah.
people are giving them credit for.
That's true.
I've seen people talking about that, like, oh, you know, it was an ugly breakup, blah blah blah. Like, I really I have no inside info at all. I really don't think that's the case whatsoever. There was talk around the offseason here in Calgary that Brad was going to just take the year off. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't even, it was just like a, you know what, maybe I just reassess, figure things out. Things didn't go my way. He was kind of at liberty of what direction ownership wanted to go in, and it wasn't really ugly. It was just kind of like, okay, it just kind of happened, right? But
I mean-
I think there's a lot of mutual respect there between Brad Treliving and Craig Conroy. Conroy is a guy that Tree mentored and brought up with him through the ranks in Calgary. I really don't think there's any ill will there.
I don't think there's
Well,
any bad
I
blood.
don't-
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think if there was like a acrimonious relationship, I'm with Auddie. Like, I think people are blowing it out of proportion because like when everything was happening with Chris Snow,
Mhm.
like Brad Tree-Living left the team that employs him to go be like that front office
for an extended period of time.
Yeah, like really tight knit.
Super
and
tight.
I also like Brad Tree-Living is one of the only people, specifically like GM level, that I don't think I've heard anyone in hockey say a bad word about. Like everyone just says he's like a super nice guy and like just easygoing, easy to get along with, works well with everyone. He was the mentor to Craig Conroy. So like maybe it's being a little bit overblown. And the thing about like if you look at the former GM in Toronto, like GMs like familiarity, right? So they like to trade with certain GMs. And
100%.
if Brad Tree-Living and Craig Conroy have that familiarity of working together because they were in the front office, like I could see that panning out. At the same time, though, if you're Calgary, you really have to sort out what you're gonna do. And if you're Toronto, you need to sort out what you're gonna do too, because 88's gonna be commanding a whack ton of money.
An egregious amount of money.
It's going to be amazing when he scores 100 points, gets an $11 million contract, and then goes right back to scoring 75. It's going to be fantastic. And all of the Uncles Union of Ontario is going to just be super happy about it.
The Uncles
Union. Yeah.
The UUO.
The U2O.
Oh man.
On that note, let's do an ad read before we get carried away and fall down the rabbit hole. The NHL season is heating up, and there has never been a better time to get in on the action. Whether you're looking to hammer an Austin Matthews anytime goal or ride the puck line with the Montreal Canadiens, our partners at Sign Up Expert want to make sure you are ready to sweat your bets with one of the best. Sign Up Expert is hooking up our listeners with one of the newest sportsbooks available in Canada, Betano. Betano is home to one of the best odds when it comes to betting on the NHL and offers unique markets including virtual soccer and basketball. All you have to do to get started is scan the QR code, where is it, right over here, and on your screen, or click the link in the description to register and place that first bet. If you thought the Vancouver Canucks have been the best surprise of the season so far, wait until you try Betano. Don't walk, run to check out Betano today. Scan that QR code or hit the link in the description to get started and start sweating your bets with the best. Always remember to bet responsibly and within your means. Viewers must be 19 plus to sign up for Betano. So, second half of the game, where the pendulum swings into the second period. William Nylander gets a shorthanded goal, which is the first of the Leafs season, which was very nice, followed up by another goal by John Tavares. And then, of course, what happens 47 seconds later is they allow a goal, and of course the floodgates open. Zadorov scores, and it was a very, very, very bad screen by Morgan Rielly and a very nice shot from Nikita Zadorov.
Yeah, that's a noted goal scorer who scored 14 goals for the Flames last year, Nikita Zadorov. Known sniper, Nikita Zadorov, to everybody watching. But to take it back,
just trying to like drum up the first round.
He's like,
talk.
I'm literally just trying to increase their. Yeah, like, was that not the best audition ever for Nikita Zadorov tonight?
It really was. Somebody put that on a tape and
I can't wait for him and Bertuzzi to be teammates. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh my God, stop it.
But taking you back to that goal from a Flames perspective, the shorthanded 2-on-1 blown. Where's my note? It was It was Anderson, another flat-footed in the D zone. Sharangovich and Anderson. Anderson literally takes his stick and just tries to whack at the. He's standing still. It's like when your controller disconnects playing NHL 24. You just stand there and you're like this, and you wait till you plug your controller back in, and then right when you do, you take a whack at the puck. That was Rasmus Anderson on that play, and
honestly, the pairing of Anderson Tanev tonight, I thought really struggled.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I would agree.
Even strength. And then on the power play, like Rasmus Anderson, I was like, hello, you're not supposed to pass to the team in blue. Passing to the team in white. What are you doing?
Turnovers for days.
Oh my God. That guy's head baker tonight.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
I was honestly
He's franchising the Cubs at Scotiabank Arena.
He's franchising the Cubs at the Scotiabank Arena. But you look at it and it was just, I felt like it kind of summed up the game. Rasmus Anderson was kind of like a microcosm of the game in that it was sloppy, the hot mess express, but wildly entertaining.
It was.
like that was the full kit and caboodle in one player, right? And so you look at that and it's like, okay, if that's like your top defenseman, that's sort of going to be how your night goes. And you can't really expect a whole lot. But if I'm Ryan Huska, like I'm pulling him in for video tomorrow and being like, hey, so no more of that. I don't know what that was, but it's going to stop. And if I'm Calgary, their power play setup break-in situation is too stagnant. It reminds me a lot of the Leafs last year, where like I literally wanted to throw things at the television, or like when I was at the game, actually like scream, because if I can read it from like 10 rows up, the guys on the ice making $5 million can read it too. Like it cannot be that stagnant. You have good skaters. You need to, I don't know, do the thing you're supposed to do in hockey and skate with those knife shoes, guys. Like move your feet. And I thought, honestly, like the only guy that did that was Jonathan Huberdeau on the power play, which was interesting.
Yeah, I'd say him and Zary were the two who maybe rode the bus a little, or drove the bus a little bit on the power play tonight. But taking it back to last season too for the Flames, when the Kirk Muller power play was a thing, and we all know how great that power play was. It started out great. Not great. It started out like when we saw it, we're like, okay, Marc Savard, let's let this guy cook a little bit, but it's still that kind of just lethargic, not really moving the puck, not really skate. Like their setup when they get in the zone is slightly better, but it's almost the same bullshit, just a different look, and it's frustrating as hell.
As somebody who watches the Leafs and the Flame, and honestly, I watch too much hockey for my own mental health. It's the players. The Leafs have had like 17 coaches for various things, and they can't start on time. And the big four refuse to get involved in anything, and no amount of coaching is going to fix that. And I feel like with Marc Savard, who we're all old enough to have seen Marc Savard play. We all know the type of player Marc Savard was. That is absolutely not a chance the power play that he drew up. No. And so like I kind of wonder if they have a little bit of leafiness in them, in the sense that like you can't change a leopard's spots, and maybe they're just super stagnant and they don't do a ton. Like I know when Kadri played in Toronto and in Colorado, like he didn't really have to do a ton on the power play because it was left to like the other guys, so he didn't really have to move his feet. I don't know what the heck Rasmus Andersson was doing tonight. I feel like he's usually a little bit better than that. But it felt really stagnant. And like Auddie said, like it felt like more of the same. And so I kind of wonder if a personnel change, like when you bring up Matthew Coronado, can I see a power play of like the children? I just want to see the kids. Just give me the children and Jonathan Huberdeau or something like that. Because like at least you're going to get max effort. They're probably going to listen to you.
Can I sorry to interrupt you?
Yeah, go.
We have a breaking news tweet from Kevin Weeks. I confirmed that it is in fact Kevin Weeks. Fresh off of a goal and a big hit tonight against the Maple Leafs, I'm told that Nikita Zadorov, through his agent Dan Milstein, has requested a trade.
He's literally staying in Toronto.
he's not leaving Toronto.
He's literally staying in Toronto. Excuse me while I go and tweet that.
Okay, first and foremost, Lauren, have you ever had breaking news on Game Over?
No.
This is a first.
Not that I'm aware of.
This is a first.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, I did not mean to interrupt
specific.
you. Not to completely take away from your point, but
I think that's interruption worthy.
Pretty substantial. Like this better be in the show notes that we broke a news piece on the show live. Pretty substantial stuff, and that's a guy who loves Calgary too. He loves being in Calgary. He enjoys the city. I know he likes the team, but I think he likes probably direction and actual
Rachel, you look so
winning.
Pleased.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I need to know.
What do you know that we don't?
Words need to happen.
I'm honestly processing the fact that we were like, we're going to talk about Nikita Zadorov because I have a sneaking suspicion that he might get left in Toronto with his hockey bag tonight. And then Kevin Weeks just comes in and is like,
Kevin Weeks is like, keep an
Should
eye
I?
on.
I should text my people at Milstein's agency and be like, so the Leafs, like,
You should.
You
Let's
could.
break.
Maybe he heard they're going to
Let's
Sweden,
break-
and he was like,
let's
I gotta
break
get in
this
on that.
Let's break this trade tonight. All right.
okay,
We're just
I
gonna
will
stay
send a
live
text
until it
message.
happens.
Rachel
I will-
is
I will send
Rachel,
on,
text
on
the
it on
people.
her end. I have no
Oh.
connections.
Okay, so here's a question.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So Nikita Zadorov, because now we basically have to talk about
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to completely pivot from what we were
Yes,
talking
you
about.
did. Don't
but
lie.
it was
It's fine.
substantial.
We were
was
gonna talk about Zadorov anyway. It's okay.
Right.
Well, we were talking about how he's a sniper. He fucking dropped Bertuzzi and then stood there and was like, yo, what you gonna do? And like David Kampf came over and like, okay, Ryan Reeves was obviously stapled to the bench because he was -2 in 4 minutes of ice time. But
He
like,
worked a
that's-
mean gate tonight, though.
Can I
Oh,
work?
yeah.
Can I,
Opened a mean gate.
can I
but-
work that into the Zadorov trade?
But this is exactly like Nikita Zadorov is exactly what the Leafs need. They need someone who is going to absolutely wreck someone's night and be like, hey, so what are you going to do about it? Like, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do shit. And they need some of that like piss and vinegar, snot, pizzazz, whatever adjective you want to use. That is exactly what they need. Like somebody who's just going to be like, throwing some elbows, honestly, like I wouldn't mind if the Leafs had a piece of shit on their team. I really wanted.
And the best thing about it, too, for acquiring him for the Leafs, is a guy who plays like 17 to 20 minutes a night ish on average. Mostly defensively sound-ish, can score. Like, I think this would be like a perfect marriage between the Flames and the Leafs to try to substantiate a deal for Nikita Zadorov.
I mean, listen, I don't think that there's been a Leaf player that has at least defenseman that has successfully laid an open ice hit since Jake Muzzin played like 2 years ago. I think Rasmus Sandin will have like one a season, like one absurd, and like how did that happen? Because he's like he's a large person. He's like 6 foot. In like 180 pounds. I didn't realize how large Nikita Zadorov was until Camp skated by him, and David Camp is like 6'4", and I was like, "Oh, you're like you're like the mountain in Game of Thrones." That's what it looked like. And so it's not often now that we get to see like a good full truck like open ice hit like that. And even though it was against my team, and obviously I don't want Tyler Bertuzzi getting hurt because he's finally playing well and on a line that he's having some form of success on. Like, holy shit, was that a hit? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
The Leafs have a problem with that.
Yes.
And this is just something I noticed. Like, I don't watch. Okay, I watch
It's
enough
not a
Leaf
threat.
games.
It's not. There's no threat of anything like that happening. Maybe if you go
Every
into a corner,
team-
someone might peg you a little bit. And
like
like
maybe McCabe.
maybe
yeah.
John Klingberg
Yeah.
every now and then. Austin Matthews has quietly started like smashing people, but we haven't.
William Nylander elbowed somebody in the head tonight. I was
Yep.
like, sorry.
And
What?
he yanked someone down the other day too. William Nylander this year, he's always been very good in terms of like stick checking and like stick lifts and poke checks. Like that one takeaway, the breakaway goal where he almost scored was like, holy poke check. It was beautiful. But anyway, getting back to Zadorov, like there's not many players like that can actually really successfully land a hit that reminds me of like PK Subban taking down Brad Marchand. And that hit tonight, it was totally clean as a whistle. And just what a hit. Oh my God.
He does it a lot.
Textbook.
He does it a lot. Like the more Flames, if you watch Flames games back, he lays the body out at right times too. He doesn't really like, okay, every now and then he'll, everybody makes a mistake and takes themselves out of the play, but he's not throwing hits and putting his team at a disadvantage by taking himself out of the play, causing an odd man rush,
Getting
pinching to make a
suspended.
hit at the wrong time. That too. And the Leafs have a really big problem with any slight bit of physicality which they encounter and just rolling over.
Yep.
Okay,
Just
so like
rolling over.
See the Florida series last year.
exactly. Somebody
Yeah.
like Nikita Zadorov, and people are like, "Well, I don't know if he fits the Leafs defensively. Is he good enough? Have you seen the Leafs defensively this year?
He's better
Like,
than
what are you
some guy.
kidding?
And to bring it back to the boss, he's a true living guy. And like you said,
Right.
Rachel, like GMs have their guys. Zadorov is
Oh.
Brad's guy. Zadorov is 100% Brad's guy. Free agent signing. I know he was excited when he came in. I think that
He
I
likes
think
Brad a lot.
he does. He does.
Yeah.
I know he respects Brad. This might actually become something real.
I feel
Like,
He's
like we were
Nikita
just throwing.
Zadorov will end up if, let's say, hypothetically speaking, if Nikita Zadorov ends up in Toronto, he is gonna be a fan favorite like game friggin' 2, because he is gonna truck somebody, and because the thing about Toronto, and I feel like a lot of people have a misconception about Toronto, and you kind of saw it with the William Nylander TTC thing, because everyone was like, oh my god, I love William, like what the heck, he rode the TTC. Thing about Toronto is the rink is full of suits and like Bay Street people, but the actual city is full of blue collar workers. There's a ton of blue collar workers.
Yep.
And a guy like Nikita Zadorov is literally the U2O's poster boy. Like,
He's a lunch
he
pail
is
guy.
Uncle's Union of Ontario type dude.
Yeah.
And the second, like, game 2, he's gonna come in and absolutely truck somebody, and all the fans are gonna be like, that's my guy. The jerseys are gonna fly off the shelves. He is gonna beat the crap out of somebody if they even breathe on one of the Leafs' top 4 guys. And that's exactly what the Leafs need, quite frankly.
He says
Like,
all the right things too.
oh yeah,
Like
his
fans
stuff
are gonna
with Mila.
love. Like we're already willing this into existence. It's happening. He's going to Toronto.
Should I pull the sewing machine out? I got some spare hockey numbers and a blank
Do it.
jersey.
Do it. Put it
Get it.
on any one of those kind of ugly jerseys behind you.
Wow.
I'm
can
just
say
kidding.
The
When
same
I
thing.
have
You
I have
own
this
one. You're
thing-
full of lies. You own one. You're full of lies.
You sit on
Yeah,
a throne
and
of
it's
lies.
Yes.
rotting. Oh,
We're so
that
off
remind.
the rails.
It's okay. This is exactly how I wanted the show to go.
Andrew
'Cause
wanted
we're hitting on
This is what you get.
This is what you get. But back to Nikita Zadorov. Like Leaf fans, Rachel, you're bang on. If and when this happens, Leaf fans are going to embrace the shit out of Nikita Zadorov. He's such a like a fan guy. Like what's the word I'm looking for? Just a lovable big oaf on the blue line, throws the body around, and is probably what the Leafs could use right now.
You
I was
know
going
what
to
it
say, so
is?
everything the Leafs need.
Exactly.
Everything. Well, all of the good things that Ryan Reeves was supposed to bring to the Leafs. Truculence, right? A little bit of snot, a little bit of open ice hittage, a little bit of more snarl, someone that was loved by the city. And that would be, if someone could actually come in and like live up to said standards and actually fulfill those things for more than 2 games and 5 minutes a night, that would be great. Because the thing is we don't have a lot of guys like that. Jake Muzzin hasn't played a game for the Leafs in close to 2 years now. And people are still like ready to raise a banner to the roof, and he never won a damn thing here. But it's the way that he plays. It's a solid defenseman that's going to make good choices, maybe on occasion give up a goal, whatever, but like give a shit and give a hit every game, and like go and get into the grit and not be worried about like, oh, I'm small. Meh. It would be nice to have someone that's over 6'6" on the Leafs defense again. It would be very nice.
Be careful what you wish for, because next thing you know, they're going to be trading for Tyler Myers, and trust me, you do not want Chaos Giraffe on the Leafs. You don't want it, okay? I had to work for that hockey
We got
team,
rid of the Giraffe
and I had
last
to watch
year.
that.
We got rid of the Giraffe last year. We traded him to the New York Islanders, and then you signed like a 7-year deal.
Yeah, so I mean, like with Nikita Zadorov, I like that sort of proof of concept, right? Because if you look at it, right, Ryan Reeves was supposed to be that. David Clarkson was supposed to be that. Like the list goes on, and like there's a reason that when Wendell Clark steps foot in the building, that like people kiss his shoes, and bow down, and it's not because he won anything, and it's not because like he scored 10 points in a game or was the greatest Leaf of all time. It was because you knew that he was going to literally bleed for the hockey club. And he was going to come out there and beat the shit out of you and then score too, right? And maybe Nikita Zadorov doesn't do like the scoring part as well as Wendell Clark did. But if he goes out there and is like the first guy that actually beats the snot out of somebody and is a useful hockey player,
he's going to be beloved because it's been so long since the city has had somebody like that to latch onto. And it's like, okay, like the last guy I can think of who was really good that did that was Gary Roberts. And Gary Roberts played for the Toronto Maple Leafs when I was 5. I'm going to be 30 soon. Like, okay, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My last thing on Zadorov too, from a Flames standpoint, is this is such a good opportunity to sell high right now too. What an audition if the trade partner is Toronto. Like, look at what this man did to you tonight, and all I'm going to say is like the opportunity to maximize what you can get in return for a guy. It's right now. And one last thing too, all the best to him if it is sooner than we think. Guy was a hell of a Flame, and I know he was beloved. I'm reading some of the tweets right now. Lots of people upset that it's come to this, but kind of understanding. But all the best to him, because he's a heart and soul guy, and he says and does all the right things, and people just like him. And this is after too, he's had, he kind of went through the ringer a little bit when he was with the Blackhawks and prior to coming to Calgary. And I remember a lot of people were like, "Ooh, really? Nikita Zadorov? Like, this guy, like what's he gonna do?" And then he won fans' hearts over, which is exactly what you said, Rachel. So
the other team I could see being the case, just because obviously I know the organization, is Vancouver. One, Dan Milstein is basically an assistant GM for that organization. And two, like, it's not exactly a secret that they could use some help on the right side of their defense.
Mhm.
It is not fantastic if you haven't been paying attention. So I think that that's a situation that could play itself out. I think those are two likely destinations. Do I think that the team out west is in a position where they should be selling off assets to do anything? No, I do not. Whereas the team further east is very clearly in a contending window, and like that window is open, and you are selling the farm. Like, that is the situation right now. And so I think that those are probably the two most likely destinations. I just wouldn't be surprised if Zadorov ended up in Vancouver, just because I know that there's interest there, and that there's an established relationship there. I mean, Kuzmenko's there, Mikheyev's there. Like, I think he has 4 clients on the team.
It's funny you mentioned that. Rick Dollywall replying to Kevin Weeks' tweet 4 minutes ago saying the Canucks will be a big player for Zadorov. There's another.
It's almost like I might have researched this when I was employed like a year ago.
Could be. That's
It could be. I don't know.
I don't know,
like,
though. Maybe not.
I mean,
I don't know. Like, I could probably pinpoint who they're going to give up. But yeah, like, I think those are going to be the 2 big players. I think it makes some sense for both of them, because there's a clear need for different aspects of what those teams need, right? And so that does make some sense. I'm with Auddie there, though. Like, if you're selling high, like, what does the price look like? Yeah. Because neither team really has a ton of prospects to give up. Like, Toronto's not giving up Easton Cowan or Topi Niemela for Nikita Zadorov. If they're giving up those prospects, you're getting like a top 2 defenseman type of situation, and that isn't what Nikita Zadorov is. But I do think that there is a trade to be made, especially given the familiarity between Tree Living and the Flames front office.
All I know is if he does end up being traded to the Leafs tonight, Joseph will be very confused when he gets on the bus tomorrow, because Joseph famously does not have social media and is very confused about things like that when they happen. So that would be hilarious, and I hope it makes it to the blueprint. Yes. So let's talk about we got off track, but obviously the Flames end up scoring it or tying the game with 16 minutes to go. They go to overtime, it goes to the shootout, and then Max Domi ends up winning it for the Leafs. And then we get to talk about all of the other fun stuff. Should we talk about the Hockey Hall of Fame inductees quickly? Should we talk about that? Or should we just go right to the questions in the chat? What do you think?
It's your show. It's your world. I'm just living in it, Lauren.
That's what I was going to say, too.
It's game over Toronto tonight.
Okay, but we all know that it's a group chat. So
I will quickly just give credit for the Flames people watching to Mike Vernon going into the hall. I had the opportunity to talk to him a bit at the Shaw Charity Classic this summer, and what a guy. Like, he is just one of the nicest people I've ever met, and has all the time in the world for anybody who comes up to him and talks to him. So
his interview on Sportsnet with
it
Ryan
was
Leslie tonight,
awesome.
I was like, I want to be that guy's friend. Like,
Yeah,
you know what? He's the best grandpa, and you just know it. Like, that guy is an elite grandpa.
For
He's
sure.
the guy that like everyone wants to come over and be like, "Yo, your grandpa's over. Like, let's go to your house." Yeah,
For
I
sure
know
he
what that's
was.
like.
Or
Yeah,
is.
he's his energy was just like infectious. I was having like a
Always
really
smiling.
awful day, and then I watched that interview, and I was like, "Yo, my day is made." Like, this guy's the
I want to
best.
go give this guy a hug. And no, all of I know all of Flames fans and people on Flames Twitter are happy for him. And I will say, hell of a golfer too. He golfed in the Pro-Am with who the no, he golfed with Mackenzie Weegar, who is not a good golfer. And so Mike Vernon had to carry a little bit there. But I know I just wanted to quickly touch on that in regards to the Hall of Fame, just because of the old Calgary connection there.
I just want to say that I love Henrik Lundqvist so much.
Him and
So
his
do I.
three-piece suit almost causing a car accident downtown Toronto today.
Not even a car accident. I almost died. Like,
I want to go back on Twitter and find the tweet. This is, hey, yo, I just saw a girl just about walking into traffic downtown Toronto after staring at some dude across the street.
the thing about this, and like, I don't know, Auddie, how familiar you are with like Toronto generally speaking.
Yeah.
But like Lauren, it was literally the intersection of Yonge and Front Street.
Oh,
Busy.
God.
Yeah,
Jeez.
like I literally stepped into that traffic, and I was like, "Oh, maybe not."
It's
That
okay.
was a
You're in
near
Toronto,
miss.
so you and everybody else stepped into that traffic too. I'm sure you probably weren't the
Honestly,
only one.
it is like playing roulette.
Yeah. Yep, pretty much. Stand 3 feet back from the curb because someone might push you. Chat, if you are watching, please make sure you hit like and subscribe and get your questions in because we're going to answer those in just a quick second. So since we're already manifesting a Nikita Zadorov trade, let's just because this is Game Over Toronto, and I'll ask both of you this, what would a Nikita Zadorov to Toronto trade look like in your mind? So cap hit, in case you don't know, the cap hit is 3.750. Okay. And he's done his contract at the end of the season. Okay. That's less than Klingberg by $500,000. And it would be a ridiculously noticeable improvement on that player.
Yeah, I feel like,
I think, do you think like, does Klingberg have to go the other way? Like what like I think that's what it's got to start with, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably, well, if you look at it, right, if he is requesting a trade, that likely means that like Calgary sort of understands that maybe Noah Hannafin and some other players are on their way out the door too. So it's not like Calgary's going to be looking to be like, well, we need an asset that's going to help us right now because we're going to be good. So like taking some bad money back. Yeah, like taking some bad money back to maybe get maybe somebody like a Roni Hirvonen or a Ryan Teverberg or maybe a Nick Abruzzese, Mikko Kokkonen, like that kind of situation. I could see that kind of being the case. I would have to think that there's some level of draft pick involved. Except the Leafs only have the Leafs have they have three fifth round picks this year. So I think there's got to be there's obviously some salary going back.
Yeah.
I think Klingberg might be that.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I mean, you would have to, right?
I think it has to be. You're improving on
or
your right side.
Or you're trading like Jake McCabe and
not happening.
A rookie.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. But that's what I'm saying is that's
I don't think the
option.
Flames even. Yeah, I don't think the Flames even entertain that. I think their focus is on futures right now.
If you make the decision that you're going to trade Nikita Zadorov to the Leafs, then you're going for rookies and picks for sure. I totally agree. I don't think Easton Cowan's part of the deal. I would be hard pressed to believe that. I mean, I would. Even though I don't think Fraser Minton would be involved, I think it's more likely that he's involved than Matthew Nyes. There is no way that they let Matthew Nyes go. They're willing to trade basically anybody else.
Yeah, like the Leafs kind of mantra is like, you are not taking anybody that could be on our playoff roster, which Fraser Minton could be.
Right.
We're not taking anyone that's going to be on our playoff roster unless we are getting either a top 6 forward or a top 2 defenseman. Right. And that is the appropriate sort of approach to take there. So if you're trading like an impact player, then you're getting it. So like think about what Boston had to give up for Hampus Lindholm, right? Like you're giving up a whole package for that. And so I think you're probably looking at Aroni Hirvonen and Nick Abruzzese, who are both players that I think could comfortably kind of slot into Calgary's lineup next year. Like I think that those are good young players. Ryan Teverberg has been absolutely fantastic. I've really liked him. Alex Steeves is another guy that I know a ton of teams really like. And then the other guy's Bobby McMahon. Like he's probably going to get called up. He was held out tonight for precautionary reasons. So I wonder if that's either related to him either coming to Sweden or it's trade related, because you do not hold out a player of Bobby McMahon's caliber in the AHL for no good reason. So I think, you're probably looking at maybe like 2 or 3 kind of smaller pieces to augment the fact that you've got to send some salary back. It's got to be
you have to send salary back.
Trade.
There's no other way you can, because the Leafs have $22,000 in cap space.
Well, there's not a whole lot of teams that have cap space, so you're gonna see a lot of trades.
Honda Accord away from the salary cap.
A used Honda Accord. My used Subaru that I bought that's 8 years old was more money than that. True friggin'
like
story.
Yeah, like I'm gonna pay more in like my mortgage this year than that salary cap. Like,
Same.
Yeah,
jeez, man.
Buy a bee's bum hair. That's how much cap.
What a guy.
So
too funny.
Abby in the cheat. Who would you pair with Nikita on which team? Because if he's going to the Canucks, then I don't know, because I don't know enough about the Canucks. With the Leafs, then he shoots left, so I don't know. You kind of have the pick of the litter. I mean, I would guess on the second pair, right? If you stuck him with Jake McCabe, that'd be pretty decent.
No, I would separate him and McCabe. You need some angriness.
I think that's too much shutdown-ish.
Yeah, I would go.
Have you seen our fourth line? We could probably use it.
I would go Riley. I would go Riley McCabe, Brody Zadorov. Is probably what I would do. I think you need to split up the anger situation, because like even Mark Giordano can be like angry dad.
Yeah.
Right. So then at least you have like a loose cannon on each. And like, let's face it, Nikita Zadorov is a bit of a loose cannon, right? So I think you have to split them up, right? Even if you could go Riley Zadorov, but I think Zadorov can kind of be a bit of a cowboy. So I'd want to balance that a little bit. If Klingberg somehow remains in the lineup and isn't in the trade, like
I will be shocked.
Flabbergasted. Maybe, I don't know, but I think your top 4 at that point should be some combination of like Riley and Brody on separate pairs and McCabe and Zadorov on separate pairs. So you've got some fist punching and snot on all 3 pairs.
Sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Keep talking. I'm finding another question.
All right then. As it pertains to Vancouver, you're not breaking up the Quinn Hughes Hronek pairing.
No.
That's simply not happening. I think there you have a little bit more flexibility, because he's going to play on the second pair, and you just kind of like you try guys out to figure out kind of who's the best fit with them, because they don't really have a guy who's like, this is our top 4 defensemen. They have 2 guys that are very clearly their top pair. Quinn Hughes is the second best defenseman in the league right now behind Cale Makar. And so I think, you leave the Hronek Hughes pairing alone, and you have Zadorov sort of anchor that second pair, and maybe he pairs with Tyler Myers if that kind of goes that way.
Maybe.
That's, oh my God, that's like a chaos giraffe times 2 pairing.
That's a
Canucks
whole
fans
lot
gonna be yelling at me on Twitter for the second time this week.
That's the tallest. That's got to be the tallest D pairing in the NHL.
Oh, it's got to be, right?
By total feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be that. You're scraping you might have to raise the ceilings in the change room. Let's be real.
Lauren, did you find another question? Because I also found a tweet here.
Please.
13 minutes ago from Rachel. Maybe you can help me. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. He covers the Canucks for the 4th period, I believe.
Irfan Gafar.
Yeah. Tweeting that the Canucks will be in the mix for Zadorov, but he's not the only player on the Flames that's thinking of a change of scenery. Take that for what it's worth. There's something
answer
wrong
that question
in that
for you.
Please.
Take it worth nothing.
Tanev.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah.
Quinn Hughes reunites with his dad. I
don't think that'd be too far outside of the realm of possibility either.
No, there's I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but like,
Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't.
there's
spoil
definitely like
your
a few
sources.
players I could see. Let's just get this out there right now. Jacob Markstrom's not on the table. It's Thatcher Demko's net. We're done with that. Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
Ian Clark is a whole ass magician. I've seen it with my own eyeballs. But yeah, it's Thatcher Demko's net now. I think it's a Chris Tanev situation. I think they're in on Zadorov as well. I would be shocked, let's say, if it was Noah Hannafin.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be anybody with a long-term contract. So it's not going to be Coleman. It's not going to be Kadri. It's not going to be Huberdeau. Like it's not going to be any of those guys. But let's call it what it is. Like JT Miller's looked pretty good at center to start the year. You don't know if that's going to carry on through the season. So maybe if you can get an Elias Lindholm, that might cost a whole whack. But then that's maybe some insulation for the Elias Pettersson situation that they've got going on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a ton of possibilities. Tanev is absolutely the person that Irf is referring to there. 1 billion %.
I figured. All I can say based on all we've talked about, the NHL in Western Canada is fucked. It is fucked right now. It is crazy what's going on here. The Oilers, the Flames are imploding. Oh,
At least you're not the Oilers, man. At least you're not the Oilers. Like the Vancouver Canucks suddenly being a wagon, I don't think anybody had it on their radar at all.
No, I didn't.
Couple questions.
But anyways,
chat.
go on.
Ken, how are you all feeling about Nick Robertson? Keep him up or send him back down? I don't know. He's been pretty good. Keep him up. I think he's earned a good shot.
What? The third line has only become usable
when
since
he started playing.
If they send him down, I'm gonna throw fists with Sheldon.
Exactly.
He's established like the top 9 for the Leafs.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's been the reason
by injecting him into the lineup.
Yeah, he's literally been the glue.
Keep him up.
Arcade Regiment. Hey there, first time,
Phil.
long time. This question is for Auddie James. I am wondering when he is going to purchase Dying Light 2.
I knew that this guy won't leave me alone. Phil.
Well, then just give under the peer pressure. Jeez,
I
Auddie.
literally will probably never get that game. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Wow.
I will probably never get the game.
Gun to the earth.
Phil has
get
been
the game?
Phil has been bugging me for the better part of a year to get Dying Light 2 to play with him, and
you got to admit his dedication.
I got
man.
no.
You got to admit
I
his
know.
dedication.
I love.
Mike is gonna teach me how to play PlayStation.
One of
So
The way that you said that with a question mark was adorable.
yeah. So basically, what happened was, like, he goes, "I need you to buy me a PlayStation for the podcast," and I was like, "I'm sorry, for what?"
Mike wants you to buy him a PlayStation.
So
he's scamming you into buying him a PS5.
That's like Homer buying Marge a bowling ball that fits his hand. That's the same thing.
So Mike wants to teach me how to play NHL. And I think what this truly is Mike wants to see me get angry and throw a controller. Because that is exactly the last time, Auddie, just so you know, the last time I picked up a video game controller or like a PlayStation controller was a PS1.
Okay, so it's
been
a while.
Playing Toy Story.
It's been a while.
And
Toy Story
Smurfs.
2? You know, you can actually get Toy Story 2 on the PlayStation Store.
You can.
I can if Rachel's
I
have a
gonna-
PlayStation
so
5.
I might be getting this PlayStation.
I have a PlayStation
All right.
5. If you want, you
So-
can come over and try it out. Take it for a test drive.
Mike can thank Lauren and myself for that information and for his new PS5 for your guys' show.
So
Yeah.
I did buy it for him.
Oh,
Yeah. Talk about, am I a good friend or what?
I would say so because I know the going rate for a PS5.
I
And,
did buy him the PlayStation. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
But he's gonna teach me how to play NHL.
That
and-
PlayStation's going to be ruined soon because you're going to hate your life.
Yeah. Don't get NHL 24. That's my life advice.
Oh, but that is what he plans to teach me on. Is that
Oh,
bad?
well,
Should I
best-
learn on a different game?
I mean,
They're all
you
the same.
know what?
So
Hey, maybe we have bias because if you learn on 24, then maybe it's like better, right? I think Auddie
Or should I just stick to Smurfs?
stick to Smurfs.
and like Stardew
Okay.
Valley, like Smurf, Stardew Valley, Toy Story, that's all fine.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe I'll just stick to like the games I played as a child.
Like when I play NHL, I don't play Chell. I play like Be a Pro because I don't really like gaming online with other people.
I play with Phil.
Right.
Who's
I'm
bugging
gonna
me
be
about
the
Dying
person
Light
that
2.
like plays via GM mode and not actually like play the game. I'm gonna be the person sitting there being like, I'm gonna make trades.
Yeah.
Because that's what people like me do. We like I got bored today and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a new hockey model. And it was like, my mom looked at me and she's like, what is wrong with you? Like
Oh man.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to play PlayStation instead.
Yeah, so come over. We'll play. I have Stardew Valley. I can introduce you to all of those things, and then you can show up pre-prepared and blow us off.
There we go. Okay,
that'd be great.
All right, I'm gonna learn how to play PlayStation, and the next time I come on Game Over with you guys, I think I'm doing the next Calgary Toronto crossover. I will update you on how many controllers I've broken.
Oh,
okay,
God.
if you're coming to my house, we'll put like the Wii straps on you so that you can't. Because those are expensive controllers. They're like $100 a pop. So we'll,
I will break
we'll
four
put some
controllers.
Velcro.
I gotta break
we'll
mine.
We'll put some Velcro or something. I don't know.
People always make fun of me when I use the safety strap on the Wii.
Why?
Hey man,
it tells you in the instructions. Hello, McFly.
Right.
I accidentally threw my remote because I was like getting really intense at tennis.
Yes.
And like I went to do one of those like actual forehands and the remote just went like
whoa. Ba, ba, ba,
Yeah, it
ba,
was-
ba.
yeah. But then my mom was like, okay, that's enough tennis. And she got us Dance Dance Revolution, like the mat and everything. And
That's awesome.
and that lasted much longer because obviously you can't throw that anywhere.
It's meant to stomp on, so pretty good.
Yeah. Did we or did we not break the floor? Not relevant. But like you know what? You guys have sold me on this. I'm gonna attempt the PS5.
There you
We'll have
go.
an update. When is the next Calgary Leafs game?
Late in the season.
Yeah.
Let me see.
We'll have to snipe it because we'll have to do this again because Auddie and I always have way too much fun when we stream together.
It is Thursday, January 18th, and I am scheduled for that one as
Excellent.
well. So
Guys,
I
that's
think we're
like
gonna have to
literally
do a
week
reunion
before my
episode.
birthday.
Even better.
We can have cake, Rachel.
And I'm gonna come back super tan because I'm gonna be down south for 3 weeks.
exciting.
yeah.
Exciting.
That's awesome.
So I'm
I
gonna
love
come
that
back
for
with
you.
like a tan, and then we're gonna talk about hockey, and we're gonna have PlayStation. It's gonna be great.
It'll be a good time.
Because that'll be the only thing to talk about. On this
Yeah.
show.
We'll reconvene and get just as off topic as we have tonight. Great.
Hey, this is
Steve
chaotic
is gonna
and I
ban
love it.
us.
It's Friday. It's fine. We're having fun. That's the point. Damn it. You're in our living room.
Yep.
You might as well play video games with us.
That's right.
There we go.
That's right. So,
Just to sorry, one last thing. A
No,
quick
please.
update on the whole Zadorov thing.
Ooh.
As it stands right now, what we know, Zadorov wants out, and the most recent update is he apparently wants out quickly, and Milstein hinting at the Leafs.
Okay,
so
should I have a responded text. Should I maybe check that?
yes.
I
Before
mean,
listen, you do whatever makes your little heart happy.
let's just see what the facial expression is,
and
we'll
whatever you won't get
dictate-
sued for.
Yeah, whatever won't get you in trouble. Okay.
I'm
That
not gonna
wasn't
give-
what I was expecting.
All right.
you have
Yep.
you have a more quiet face than I do.
I would not be surprised if he stays in a Toronto hotel this evening.
Okay.
Oh wow, this is.
Okay.
Well, think about it. Vancouver's already here.
Oh,
That's true.
They pra-
this is true. I didn't even think of that.
Vancouver is
Just stay here. It's either Toronto or Vancouver.
You're either going to the hotel that's 237 meters from my condo,
Yep.
or you're staying at Scotiabank Arena.
Or you're on the bottom bunk of the Matthew Nyes room at the Tavares house.
The triple
and you're
bunk.
babysitting his
It looks like the
children.
Duggars house in the bottom of that family's house. I
That's
guarantee you
right.
that's what it looks like.
Oh.
It's like basically you're going to the Four Seasons or the Ritz Carlton. Both are nice hotels.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
you'll live. They're nice. They have spas.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna. Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got left here tonight.
All right. Well, I guess
You heard it here.
I guess if he is traded to either the Leafs or the Canucks, you will have an update tomorrow on Game Over because they will be back tomorrow. It will not be me. It will be some other gentleman from the Toronto market. So, thank you for
You'll
watching.
also find out on Game Over Calgary.
That's true.
Peter and Charlie are live tomorrow at the conclusion of Calgary and
That's right.
Ottawa. That's all.
It's
Go
the
ahead with your
it's the
won't
be on
double header.
You know who won't be on the Toronto Vancouver Game Over stream? Me.
Rachel
I
Doerrie.
will not be on that.
You're gonna take a well-deserved night off after
Yes.
a second half of a back-to-back tonight.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that it might be a bad idea for me to go on that stream?
Maybe a little. I mean, it could be fun. Could be fun. It's a Saturday.
Could be chaos.
It could be both.
It could be chaos.
It would be
Hey,
chaos.
if I'm the Flames seriously though on Zadorov, if he wants out quickly and you intend to like potentially leave him here because the two most likely destinations are both happen to be in this city, even if the trade doesn't get done tonight, tomorrow morning, if you think that trade is getting done quickly, you cannot let him play.
No.
Because
No.
the game he plays is conducive to potentially getting hurt.
Yep.
You cannot let him play. Like they can't let him play tomorrow no matter what.
No, I agree.
And even if he gets traded to the Leafs on Sunday morning, well, the Leafs are then off until next weekend because they will be in Sweden. So maybe he ends up having to impulsively buy a plane ticket to Sweden like I have to now. So let's finish this off before I'm going to Sweden in May for my anniversary and to see Taylor Swift.
Oh, I thought you meant for tomorrow. I was
No.
beg your pardon.
Yeah, I'm cashing a plan. I gotta go back. No. So yeah, the other Game Over people will be on tomorrow. It will be a doubleheader of doubleheaders, which is awesome. Please make sure you check all of those stream out. And make sure you follow all of us on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Lauren6. Rachel, where can everybody find you?
At Rachel Doerrie and the Staff and Graph podcast, where you can continue to see my facial expressions, except I yell at Mike most times.
Right. And
on TikTok.
yes.
Sporty girl math. Hello. You
Oh,
want
yep.
so
Sorry.
much
I'm
money.
Sporty Girl
Yep.
Math on TikTok.
Yep. So for everybody that's saying in the chat and has been saying all night, please give Rachel her own show. She basically has her own show. So
She does.
please go
It's
check
on
out her
YouTube.
other
While you're
content.
watching this show, just go subscribe to the Staff and Graph
Yes.
podcast.
Yeah,
Literally.
absolutely. And then Auddie, where can everybody find you on X, Twitter?
X, Twitter, whatever it's called next week. At Auddie James. That's kept it nice and simple. It's also all in the notes below, so you can follow us all there.
Absolutely. So if you have watched this whole time, I hope you had a good time hanging out with all of us. I thank you both for being here tonight. This was like probably my favorite stream so far of the year. So good to see both of you. And let's reconvene in January, shall we? So
Let's do it.
Leafs beat the Flames, the flaming pile of Leafs, on a Friday night, 5-4 in the shootout. Have a great night, everybody. Take care. We will see you next time.